Right, welcome everyone to session 14. Should be a final session, this one. I did also send a feedback to my lot, or the ones that I had on my list, and I believe Robin has also done the same, probably way ahead of me. I was running a little behind, and I do apologize. The other thing, what else is there? A couple of things that came up from what I've looked at was basically that S for the smoke alarm wasn't coming up for a lot of you, so just go refer back to session 10 at the beginning. I did a little video there. Okay, anything else you want to add from the date? Perhaps put in the due date. Which one? Oh, yeah, yes, the due date, which would be around what, 21st or 21st? I can't remember what it was, for the final assessment. Yeah. Put 21st of June. The other thing is a lot of you don't have your name on there. Now, if your name is a little long and you won't fit, put at least your first name, initial, and your second name so we can find you. Because sometimes we just print them off and start marking anything. Well, if I got the file will have the name on there, but if I didn't notice the name was missing, then I won't know who it belongs to. I have to go back through, look at all of them. Yeah. So from last week, apart from that, from last week we did get some feedback for the notes, and of course Robin was taking notes as well. And we had some things to add to the notes to make it clearer. And I went through and amended that, and I've put that up on Moodle, so you can download that version 2 now. We also had a very good question, absolutely very good question, when everyone left the room, just about, from our fellow student here. And he asked the question of about, you know, how we create new layers, and every time you create a new layer, then it appears on every viewport, and you have to go back and turn off every layer from every viewport that you don't want. So I think the better approach, I mean, I knew this existed, I just never got around to putting it in my rush to get this out. So I had a look and see where it was, and it was only just next door. Instead of clicking this button here to create a layer, this one, you just click the one next to it. What that does, it automatically makes a layer frozen, as it says here, creates a new layer and freezes it in all existing layout viewports. So if there's a viewport already there, it'll be frozen. This button is accessible from the model tab or layout tabs. So basically I say here, if you use the button next to the new layer button, it will create all layers as frozen in all viewports. But be careful about this, as if you are drawing via a floating viewport, as we usually are, like in the expanded or the collapsed mode, you will not be able to see the objects you create in these new layers until thawed in the current viewport. So, you know, if you created all these, like we did the other day in our site viewport, you start drawing well, we won't be drawing the boundary, but if you start drawing any line work in there, it'll draw it, but it'll be turned off. It's if it's turned off. And when you thaw it, you see all these lines come up. So just make sure that I'll just show you a practical thing here. So if I went into this site plane, which you can hardly see because it's yellow, I'll just go into the viewport like we usually do. If I can actually double click on it, there we go. So in here, you don't do this, but let's just suppose we want to create a new layer. So we'll go in here, we'll create one. I'm just going to create a new one called driveway, just for the exercise. All right. So as you can see, as I created that layer, because I clicked this second button, it's right here, and it's already got the frozen symbol on there. I'm sorry I can't zoom up so you can see it, but it is actually frozen. So if I set that layer then current, because I'm going to draw a driveway, right? I go down here. Oops, let me just turn that off. Started to draw my driveway, so I'll just draw a few lines that go from here, go up here. As you can see, there's no driveway showing. All right. So until I actually thaw that, and I can just thaw it from here now, it doesn't matter where from, those lines will not show up. Right? That's what I actually drew, but it was invisible. Well, right, so that's the only thing to be careful of. Other than that, it's great because now I can go to model, go to this other plans here, and my driveway shouldn't be showing in. Not that I went that far, I don't think, but I will go back and check how far I went. Let me just check. So if I just make sure I push this line up in here, so it is well into the floor plan, you can see that it doesn't appear in any of these floor plans because it's automatically frozen. All right. So of course, if I wanted it to show up in, sometimes you do create a new layer, but you want it to show up in an existing viewport, you just have to go into this one and say, okay, well, I do want to show the driveway in this plan, and just throw it in that particular one, and there it is, that one there, that line there. No, simple. I'm just yeah. So I'll just basically undo all that. I didn't need to create that at this stage, so I'll just undo back. And this the way I'm undoing back, I'll just click the little down arrow next to the undo button here, and I can just look back and go, if I can tell where you go, VP layer, viewport layer, and just work out. See, I draw some VP max, viewport max there. It tells me, okay, so I did a save as just before, so it's probably just when I first started, I did a save as, so that's where I got to go back to. Now, a word of warning with this: if you went back too far and you realize straight away, do not go zooming around to make sure if you've gone too far back. Just immediately hit the redo button, because the redo button has got actually you can redo a few more times now. It didn't used to be able to. Once you start zooming around, sometimes it won't let you redo. No, so if I just do a redo, it all comes back. Right, so I'll go back to that there. All right, so I think that's where we were. Okay, so there's no driveway in here, so it's good, easy. All right, so that's that one there. That's been amended, and also amended this layer here. I think we'll call it sewer, but it's actually stormwater, and added a bit more information here about how to load -2, because -2 will not be there by default. And I did amend this as well, so it does show the veranda, which it didn't. A few other little here. We download the site plan here. I made an extra note saying save it in the drawings folder, not in the blocks folder, because it's not a block, it's actually a full-blown plan that someone gave us. It's not like a smoke alarm or a dishwasher or anything like that you're bringing in, so it should not be in the blocks. If anything, for a bigger job, it will be under another folder called, consultants or something like that. And expand the viewport model. That's it. Added some more information on here regarding what these things mean, and I made a special note here saying, because one of you had this problem last week where here relative path should be will not be available if the site plan, for example, is saved in a different disk drive letter to the current drawing file, which means if you didn't follow the instructions and save it in the folder I just said above, and you saved it, like on F drive or something like that, or H drive, and your drawing is in C drive, that would not even show up. It won't even let you pick that option. Yeah, there's just a few little things about millimeters and meters there, and what overlay means. This is where your site plan is, and be careful here. I've added a little hint here. I did say last week zoom extends and see if you can find the floor plan. You probably won't be able to find it until you just zoom out a little bit slightly, just so it can, because this little dot will be right on the bottom edge of your screen, and you probably won't see it, so you need to just zoom out slightly, and you probably see a little dot there like shown here. So just a few little things that I remembered from last week. I think that was it, wasn't it? Yeah. So beautiful, excellent. So now we basically we have put our plan in. See if you can locate it now, which we did, and bring it on top. So we did actually move it on top of our floor plan. So now we are sitting at this position here, and we need to align it so that the setbacks from the boundaries are the correct location. What we need to do here is actually not move the house to be at the right setback, but move the site plan to be at the right setback, which is a little backward because normally you build the house on the right setback, but we did it back to front. We brought the site plan afterwards, so we'll do it now. All right, change the boundaries to green. That'll be next. So let's just do that now. Let's go to this. So I'm just going to go into the full floating viewport here, and I'm going to see how good I was in just aligning it by eye. Probably not that good. 7 and 7.5. Right? I can already see it's not going to be right. Okay, so how do we? Basically, this 7 meters is from the front corner of this boundary here. So where it is. So how are we going to get that to happen? Any ideas, anyone? Or how has anyone tried it? Yeah. So you draw a line here or whatever, you offset this line here, say down 7 meters, and then you move that corner straight up to it. Right, excellent. Good idea. I like that. Let's do that. The problem with me is that I've got these lines are like polylines. So if I offset it, will offset the side of this as well. It's not a bad thing, but just the other way would for me to draw another line, but yeah, then I have to erase it. So I'm just going to go with offset. So I'm just type in O for offset, enter, and I'll put in 7,000, isn't it? 7,000. See how we go. Sometimes with these polylines, it's okay if I'm offsetting out, but if I'm offsetting in 7,000 like this, it probably won't do it because it can't create that L shape. Yeah, so depends. Yeah, that's basically where I'm meant to be. Yours perhaps was a bit lower, but mine is a bit higher. So I need to bring this down. So yeah, good technique. Just offset that. Thank you. So we're just going to. That's what I usually do when I don't know what to do. I ask the students what they did. No, it's okay. Of course, I knew what I was doing. Okay, so let's go move. Where's the move command here? All right, so move from here, and the only other thing is got to make sure you go perpendicular down. Now I have already my perpendicular set, and it's already recognized it, so I'll be very confident in clicking there, and that will go straight down. How else do we get our perpendicular up if it's not coming up? Any ideas? How do I force it, or how do I make it go perpendicular if it wasn't showing perpendicular, which means straight down, basically? Sorry? Ortho? Ortho, let's have a look. Well, ortho will go straight down for sure. They will go straight down, but it does not mean it's going to, like, it goes, but if I didn't have perpendicular on, it could, for example, now snap to the end because it's going onto that line, but then it hasn't got perpendicular, so it's going to go to the end in my case, or the midpoint, depending where that line is. So that's not going to help exactly, but closer. Shift right click. Okay, yes, excellent. Shift right click perpendicular, and that will force it to do that.
It switches off all the other.
It does actually also, yes, it does also switch off all the others because I've got quite a few others on as well. So it will switch off the others and just concentrate on the perpendicular. Also, I'm sitting here with this menu. All of the ones you look at there, say endpoint, midpoint, perpendicular, all right? You can actually, if you didn't want to do the shift right click, or you didn't remember that, but you remember what it is, perpendicular, you can type in PER and press enter, and that will also do it without bringing the shift right click. All right. So this is what we did in the days when shift right click wasn't there. All right. So perpendicular. That's it. Just drop it there. Done. So that's aligned it along the front boundary way, but we still haven't aligned it along this boundary here on the left-hand side. So I'll just delete this first up so we don't mix up these lines. All right, so the other one is 7.5, so go offset again. 7,500, enter, and we click here. Oh, this is going to be really interesting. Check it out, eh? It looks good. All right, so we just put it there, done. What are other ways we could have done it without doing the offset, I wonder? What are, anyone else think of any other ways we could do it without doing that offset, that, this particular way? Any other techniques? I mean, there's always 2 or 3 different ways you can do these things. Not necessarily any faster or slower, they could be just as equally good. No idea? All right, here's another couple of ways. One way would be to just draw a single line as I was thinking initially here and go offset 700, and you get that. Of course, now I have to erase 2 lines. Okay. The other one is another one with drawing no line, draw 0 lines, and this is it. Here, I could go, in this case, being a vertical boundary, even with this I could have done it. I could have moved this site plan from here to there, and then it's the extra commands, but there's no lines, all right? Same thing, same amount of clicks really. And then move it again back 7,500. No, so should be the same thing. Right? A couple of different ways. We always double check that we've got everything right. 7,500, good. Another double check with the, by the way, I'm using the measuring tool here, the distance tool, not the dimension tool. All right, very important. Why? Does anyone know why it's important? We don't need the dimension, you said? Well, that's I didn't think of that, but that's another reason. Then if we put a dimension, then we have to erase it. But there's another reason, accuracy reason. Correct. We do set the precision. Excellent. Yeah. So you'll find the dimension style, for example, here. If I just click and modify that, we do have under, where is it? Text, no, is it fit or primary units? Here, have it rounding off, precision, round off to 0. Like that. It hasn't got any decimal points, so we want to know if it's, if it was 7,500.1, it would tell me 7,500, but it's actually a little bit out. So now the thing is this. I got a measure. Actually, if I expand it out, I get the distance part of the measure, and I go along and it gives me to the nearest of what? If I just test this one out, and I'll start from the bottom here, and then I can go perpendicular up. It's just 7,000. Okay, it's exactly 7,000. Now, if it was a little bit out, it would actually tell me. So I might just move it down by 0.2. Let's just see what it says here now. Distance. It actually tells me 7,000.2. It does tell me that. And let me just see, where does it actually get that though? Where does it, how does it know that? Well, I'm pretty sure it works it out from, it does work out from the units. But as you can see, I've got my coordinates down the bottom here. I'm not sure if you have, but they just turned on from here, the top one. And that tells me that it's reading the coordinates at 2 decimal points. And that's basically where it gets it from. If I just, if I change my units, and I'm going to type in UN, you can get from the big button here too as well, big A, but just for speed here, UN for units, and I'll change the precision to 0 and go OK. They immediately change to no decimal point. Let me just measure now, see if this is linked. It used to be, but I haven't checked for a while. All right, tells me it's 7,000 now, which we know it's 7,000.2, don't we? So again, you've got to watch that as well. It depends on your precision set for your distance of your measuring units. All right. So let's set that back to UN units. Set that back to what it was. To decimal points. We're good. Excellent. Now I'll just move this back by 0.2. go up 0.2, and we should be right. Just double check again. And it's exactly right. Okay, excellent. All right, everyone happy with that? There you go. One more happy customer on my right here. All right, so where are we here? Okay, so we do that. Next, change boundaries to be green color, and change line type for the easement to be dashed. The one from the surveyor is using an imperial version. How do I know that? Well, I know that from experience, basically, having worked for a surveyor using imperial stuff. But because but really, there's another reason that I know it. If I have a look at, well, I don't actually know what that layer is, really. Just by looking at it, I don't know. And it's not like Revit where I can click on it and it'll sort of show me. You can actually, extras can get involved. You can actually open the drawing itself and have a look, and you can do that. Anyone else have any ideas of finding out what the name of that layer is? So we can go and change it. I mean, I could go looking through, but that's correct, yes. So if you go here, you can see that the layers are actually gray here. So you can probably guess from this because there's not that many. That's because the surveyor did the right thing and sent to you a drawing that's being purged. We'll talk about purge last week or not? No, not yet. It's coming up. Okay. So that means they got rid of all the layers that were empty. Didn't have any lines on them. But if they didn't, it would be like a whole heap of layers. And again, you'd be in trouble trying to find it. But yeah, you can see here one called ease. That could be easement, eh? And that's the one. It does say here the site plan, like for the line type, if I expand that out, it does prefix it with the name of the drawing, and it says dashed. What did I say it should be? It's down here. We're in the wrong one. Yeah, the right one. It should be dashed. So it does say dashed, but it should be dashed. But it's not the same dashed that I expected. Like they're very, very close, those dashes. Have we got any other dashes one here? We've got dash 2. We haven't got an actual dash. Anyway, the fact is, it's got to look a bit like that. So, because they're so close, it could look like it's continuous. So you need to change the line type anyway to whatever. I'm just giving you what I think the correct one is. If I go back to, I'm losing it here. If I go back to this, it said it should be dashed, and it's exactly the same name as what they had anyway. But their dash, you'll see, it's got different spacing, because there are such things as imperial line types as well. All right, so we can change it. Now, I was just saying, how do we know what it is other than that? Well, and I'll show you this now as well, because I'm not sure if we talked about it, but when we did the external referencing, we just brought the thing in. But then you go home and you open this file up, and perhaps you might not find the site. It loses the link sometimes, depending. So if it does do that, don't panic. You just have to remember this xref, the letter xref, and enter. Or you can go to the insert, into the same area that we attached, but we are going to click the little down arrow here on the bottom right hand corner there, just a little 45 angle one, and it tells us all the things that are already externally referenced in here. There's a thing called site, yes, and there's a thing called TAFE logo. Even the images and PDFs can be xrefed in here as well. So anything you xrefed is in here. So if I click on the site plan, suppose it wasn't showing up, I could actually go down here under the safe path, and you might have to expand this out. I'll show you how it comes in. When you first open it up, it looks a bit like that. So just expand it out a bit so you can read better. And it says it's looking for, it says it's found it actually. If it's not there, you won't see it, and you have some text in the middle of the screen saying that path, just in text. But in here you have some exclamation marks, I think. What you need to do, and by the way, you can change, if you've forgotten to make it overlay earlier, you can actually change it here as well afterwards. All right. So yeah, you can go here with a save path, and you can actually, well, you can actually see here that it's got a dot backslash and then the name. If you had full path, in other words, if you selected the wrong option when you brought it in, full path, it will actually have the whole path there, D drive, whatever, backslash, whatever, all right? If you just selected no path, it won't have the dot and the backslash, you just have the name. There you go, in depth. Now, if you had to find it next, because say it wasn't there, all you do is just click on that, it comes up with these little 3 dots on the side, then you just navigate and click and find the file that you want, and go open, and it will just come in where it used to be. Right? Don't need to change layers or anything like that. You already know what layer it's on, where it used to be before. All right, so that's that there, but that still doesn't help us in actually finding out what the layer is. Okay, so if I click on this xref, what options do I have here? I can open the xref, or I can edit the xref in place. If I decided to open the xref, I can just open it like that, quite easy. You cannot do this in Revit. Revit, it doesn't allow you to do that. What it does, it just says, unloads it temporarily from your drawing, then he reloads it. Yeah, now I can actually look at that and see what layer it's on. Let's have a look. Go back to my layers. And layer is perfect. Love it. Done. No use changing the line type here. We'll change the line type in the other one. But I also had another question from a student before we started the class, and it was like the question was, if the surveyor sent an updated floor plan, would that reflect then? The answer is yes. Suppose the surveyor sent another floor plan and says, oh, gee, we forgot to put the driveways on or whatever, and just goes in here and creates, the surveyor would have created a new layer. I won't do it now, but I'll just put it in text for now. That's something different. And then he or she draws a driveway here. Okay, very rough driveway. Draws it in here like this. And there's my driveway. So the surveyor puts the driveway in, saves the drawing, sends you an updated drawing. All right, so the surveyor saves the drawing, as we said, he's about to. There you go. I'm a surveyor now. Okay, so I've done that. I email it to you. So he obviously closes it, emails it, and then you have copied it into your folder. All right. If your drawing is already open and live at the time that you copied it in, you don't have to actually close your drawing. It will usually recognize it. And it says external reference has been changed, reload site plan. If you click that, it will update it. I won't do that. But suppose, I'll just save this, I'll close it. Suppose, it was the next day and, you open your plan, it will automatically update it for you. Oops, wrong one. Sorry, my apologies. Close that again. It's this one here. All right, so come in, the driveway is there. There it is. All right, so easy. There's a driveway. So it automatically updates, all right? So that answers that question. And we answered the question of how do we know what that is, what that line type is. So open the reference and have a look. You can edit the reference in place as well, but that's another thing. I won't confuse you with that. So I'll go back and just remove this now. Delete and delete there. No, you don't need to change it. I was just demonstrating how if you update something that's been externally referenced or someone updates it and then gives you an updated floor plan, how that automatically reflects into your drawing, updates that for you. All right. Yeah. So no, you don't have to do this. Only if you want to practice, that's about all. But no. See, now I had the drawing open and it comes up and says, I removed the driveway, right? So we'll do this time. Reload site plan. Click on that button there, gone automatically. Easy. Revit can't do that. Well, sort of does it. Anyway, go back in. So here now we know that's layer is, not just because I told you in the notes. We definitely know. So let's go to site plan, which has got the prefix there. Layer is, and just change the line type for that to be dashed. Have I got a dashed in here? I've got one, but if I didn't have one, you just have to click load and then go find dashed. There's quite a few of them that sounds the same. Just get the right one, okay? And I've got dashed, I select it, okay, and then it changes both the VP one and the normal one. And let's have a look. There you go, they've gone further apart now. Right. It was dashed before, but it was referencing the dashed from the site plan. Now it's referencing the dashed from our drawing. Sorry? I didn't load it, it was already there. But if yours is not there, good luck, eh? Let's have a look. If yours is not there, you just cancel. Yeah, you just go there, and you go click on. If it's not there, just go load. There's an option load. That's different. You got the load there? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, load from here. Yeah, be careful you don't go to I mean they all sound the same. Line weight is this one. Don't go there because that gives you like the thickness of the line weight, but no. Yeah, otherwise from here and then just load, go find it, dashed, whatever. If you already got dashed in there and you try to reload it like I'm about to, it'll say, do you want to reload the line type? Yeah, okay, do it. And then I still have to select it, right? It doesn't automatically select it. You have to still go and select it and then it puts it in. All right. The E, sorry, the layer is this one here. It's not showing up. All right, so let's see now. So the next thing is it was the previous thing, we never did it. How to change the color of that layer. So the site, well, they've got their own layer names, but our site boundaries are green, and they're green because, the surveyors make them in yellow, so their standards are different to ours. They're 1.35, but we want it to be 0.5, so we need to change it to be green. Now, I know when we inserted this, we inserted the whole thing under layer site boundary, but that doesn't actually give the whole thing a green color, and just as well because one of these is meant to be a different color and text and so on. So basically, again, we're going to go hunting around, find out what the layer name is, and it's not the distance and bearing, that's the text. It's not the arrow, it's not the easement, it's not the text, and it's lot lin. Surveyors love this line type layer name, lot lin. All right, what's a lot lin? I mean, okay, they could have added another letter to it and called it lot line, in nice. But anyway, it's the allotment line, so it's a boundary basically. All right, that's the real surveyor names. So that's what you get. Where does that come from? We know historically it comes from the fact that this guy here will only allow you to show, it will only show about 6 characters worth. So they kept their layer names really short. And that's where it comes from the 1980s. All right, okay, let's go. All right, so that's done. So the next thing is to put change. Yeah, we found the layer, so let's just change its color. Lot lin, let's go green. Where do we change it? Well, if we change it here, we'll change it both under VP color as well. So let's change it on the left here. Then it's green, number 3. All right, so close that. We'll go green. We're happy. All right, what else do we need to know? Dimensions. So we need to dimension this thing. Does it say that in my instructions? Didn't say that. That's terrible.
What are you looking for?
Oh, we need to dimension. Ooh. No dimension. I don't even know where I am now. I lost the whole thing. Well, I'm down too far. Here we go. All right, so let's. I think we should put the dimension on. It wasn't just so we can position it. Really, we should have the setbacks on there. So let's put a dimension on there. How are we going to do that? Good question. I'm going to actually not do it in here. I'm going to actually not do it in here. Well, I'll attempt it first. Let's see. If I go linear, now first of all, I need to put in a dimension layer, right? Now, if I put on a dimension layer, that dimension layer is frozen. So what do I have to do again? Create a new layer. Yes, and I could use that new thing now that we know how to use it. Create a new layer from here, then it will show frozen everywhere else, which is great. That helps us in a way a lot. But in fact, I'm not going to do that anyway because I'm going to simplify the amount of layers I create by just, cancel, by going to paper, and I'm going to put the dimension on here. I'm just going to momentarily change this color, I think, because maybe I won't. It's there. Maybe you can see it. Maybe you can't see it. Some thicknesses on there. I just put my line weights on. Maybe you can see it better now. There you go. So I'm going to use the exact same layer name. What I've got to make sure is I haven't frozen it on the sheet. Okay, so looking here, layer dimensions is not frozen on the sheet, so I can use it. I'm going to set that as a current layer. And I'm going to do a linear dimension. In this case, I'm not going to pick up from the house because it'll be pretty hard to go perpendicular on a point. So I'm going to pick up from the point and I'm going to go to the house. Right. Now, in fact, yeah, I can put that anywhere. I could have picked a midpoint, which I did, or the end point, doesn't matter. Strictly speaking, I should have picked up the end point at the top there. And you can put it in the middle there. It doesn't, close enough there is fine. It relates to that point, so keep it there. I'm not sure where I put it in here, but I'll put it on the other side. But perhaps it would have made more sense that it was closer to this. All right, so then again, this one here, you can put it anywhere in the middle or, what's going on here? We're missing some of our dimensions. We're missing them all. We haven't actually adjusted this, well, I haven't. This is actually not adjusted yet, so we better fix it up so we can see the whole site plan, because this, remember, we got this one from the, what was it, the footing plan, wasn't it? So that was a lot smaller. And I need to bring this over. Don't be afraid to bring it past the sheet, as long as you move it afterwards, so it's inside the sheet. And we've got a bit more here. That's about all. That's it. So now I'm just going to move this. I can click the move command and just click anywhere, move it across. It's well inside the sheet. I can see the text. Just have to be careful. I mean, I probably can go nudge it over to the left a bit. Yeah, maybe about there, saying. And of course, I've got to make sure this thing here is also nudge. Control key and arrow will nudge. Oops, Control Z. Make sure you only got this highlighted. Control key and right arrow will nudge it to the right. So I'm putting the S underneath the boundary line. All right, so again, now I can probably make this a bit smaller. I can come over here and click it there. Oh, what happened? Why is it not working? Any ideas why this is not working? Huh? Your what? Yours is not working either? Or you can't make it smaller, like me? Yeah. Well, there's a reason for that, right? And the reason for that is I click here and I come over here and I click there, but what will happen if I click there? It'll go to the nearest endpoint, which is back where I was, right? Unfortunate. But you can turn it, you can turn it off. Just turn off the object snaps the wrong way and just bring it here. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Nearest point.
That's right. So the nearest point in this case was the same point. So the result was nothing, nothing done. So yeah, of course this thing here is annoying me because there's something I think, and I haven't actually looked at this. There are a number of what they call variables to do with dimensions and things like that. And these dimensions, by right, if it's the latest, one of the latest templates used for this, and I don't know what it was, should, in theory, move. When I move the viewport, the dimensions should have gone with it. In this case, it hasn't. So there's something in this drawing that is not doing it. There are some when dim as sock, for example, one variable that's set to 2. Not sure what it should be. 2 is what it should be, I think. There's a number of those that associate the dimensions to the viewport, and they might not be set. Anyway, in my case now, either redo it, or I can just click here and just use this dragging here, this little dot here, drag it back. Oh, it went the other way. All right, there, just adjust it. All right. Okay, so the next one will be, again here, I can put it up here if I want, and perpendicular there. I can drop it up a bit. There you go. Done, dimension done. Very, very simple site plan, really. We haven't got really much on there, but you might have driveways, you might have other things. We haven't actually finished it, have we? There's more to it. It's going to finish looking like this eventually one of these days. So let's go. Well, let's go. All right. Hopefully sooner than later. Okay, set site hatch as the current layout, because we created that before, haven't we? I hope we have. Oh, haven't we done it? Oh, it was on the list to be created, but maybe we haven't done it. Is it on the list at the top? Oh, have we got one already? Yeah, it's up here. It's white, continuous. Maybe we haven't created it yet. All right, site hatch is the current layer. All right, so I could have hatched it in the actual paper as well, but I just chose this time to do it there. All right, let's go to hatches. Okay, so the thing here is this. This is the main thing here to watch out for. That you make sure the hatch is annotative at 1:200 scale. You can't make sure it's annotative at 1:200 scale. You can only make sure it's annotative. The 1:200 scale, it will know already by itself. Right, how does it know that? Because my viewport is 1:200, it says that there. Right, so if I double click on there, I'm working with within this viewport, and therefore it knows it's 1:200. I've got to set site hatch if I've got one. Site hatch, oh, I've got one, fantastic, there you go. Click it there. It's my current layer. And let me just tell you this. You know how we did some other hatches earlier, like the walls, the floors, tiles, right? Mm-hmm. If we used this method here, we really could have only really had to use one layer hatch for everything. All right. We didn't do that initially, so now we have to create an additional layer. But if we made them annotative, those hatches initially, so they knew what that means by annotative is that it says I'm a hatch and I'm only to appear in when the viewport is set to 200. That's the only viewport I'm going to appear in. So if I've got more than 1:200 viewports, I'll see it in both. Same with the other hatch for the wall. I'm a hatch for the wall, and I'm only going to show up when the scale is set to 1:100. Therefore, it wouldn't show in 1:200 here, right? It's not showing here because we've frozen it. That's the only reason. But that's like using layers without having any additional layers. The viewport is the one that controls the visibility, right? That's what we're going to do now. And that is the way you should be doing stuff in the future, right? Here we go. So let's go with site hatch. Ignore the name site hatch, but anyway, that's the one we have to deal with now because we didn't do it right initially. All right, let's just say that. Okay, let's go with hatch. Oh, first of all, before we do that, we have to add. So we'll do that. We will next add the hatching and the proposed residence text to this before hatching. So we have to add the text before we actually write hatch it. That way it'll know to put the little mask it out. So how big do we make the text? Do we remember? I don't know. Was it 3.5? 3.5 or something. We'll see what text.
As in terms of the naming of the fields.
Yeah, it was a 3, was it? Yeah, I will go with 3. Anyway,
It's supposed to be 3.5.
yeah, according to
No,
this,
it's 3.
yeah, okay. Who follows standards? Here we go. Let's go with annotate, and let's go with, I'm going to go multi-line text. Now, what have we got here? I'll just click multi-line text. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And we're looking at this thing here, and we've got standard 2 millimeters. Okay. And we've got what? We've got some extra ones here, but I can't even see these things here. There's 5. 3. This one. Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Properties. Oh, properties where?
Go back.
I'll go back. Yeah.
Just when you go up there, then you can see them.
Oh, from here. Yeah. Definitely. If I go here, I can see them. That's better that way, hey? Let me just tell you something else about text. In general, I personally don't ever put a size in here. Just leave that at 0. If you do that, then you reduce the amount of text styles you need. It will allow you to change the size every time you go in to type M text or single line text. So you can just have one standard, or a standard, or call it whatever, and just don't put anything in there. Just put 0. Yeah. But anyway, now we've got them set. We can just use those. If I go OK now, well, what do we set current? Set current. We're good, and close. That sounds a little long-winded, doesn't it? So let's go here. I am in layer. It should be in text layer in theory, but I'm not. But I'll put it in text layer later. What is it again? Proposed residence, is it? Residence, is it? Like that. Beautiful, eh? Look at that. It looks great. Even wrapped around. That's good. I'll put it down there. That's great. All right, so there it is. I mean, obviously, if your window is too big, it'll be one line, but you can just bring it back. And you can muck around with whether it's center justified or the moment the justification is top left. You're not going to much difference. Top center, it looks a bit better maybe. Is that as big as my one here? It looks bigger, this one, I think, maybe. Anyway, I'll move it down. Control key, just move it down a bit. Huh? Am I 2? Am I? Did I do 2? Possibly, yeah. It looks. Well, oh yeah. How wonderful is that? Okay, we'll just change it to this one here then. Thank you for picking that up. And that's why we've got students. So we've got that. The properties? Oh, there. Yeah, exactly. So we can see exactly what's going on. The property says that now, so it's good. That was really hard. Okay, so let's go with well, what layer is it meant to be again? This is really hard. Text. Oh my goodness. Text. It disappeared. That's almost frozen. Oh no, what am I going to do? Leave it in sight hatch, yeah. Leave it in. Just leave it in sight hatch. Yeah, I agree with you. I think go with that. Yeah. Much easier. Well, this is it. I mean, it's just like, but turn on the text. I'll have other text I don't want to see, and possibly because we didn't do that text in like, hold on. Yeah, so this one here should, I mean, I could turn on text. It should, in theory, if I used the not active before, it shouldn't show up, but one can't trust it. Yeah, you see, it doesn't, because the text we're doing it right. Just like I said with the hatch before, if you do it, the text automatically is not active, so it knows what viewport it's in. So that other text we wrote, at 1:100, is not going to show up. So we can actually put it in layer text confidently, and it'll be right, which is how our hatch should be as well. You had one line come up with the text? Yeah, because the lines, if you had drawn any line work in text, which you shouldn't have, the line perhaps should belong in something else. So if you had any line work, the line work is not annotative. Yeah, it might be one of the electrical things. So put in an electrical layer or something like that. Yeah, just go. If you go to model, full model, you might be able to see where that is. Because in full model, we can see what all the lines are already visible. So you might be able to find that little line that's showing up under layer text. All right. Okay. Well, let's go with leave site hatch. So I'm going to now, because I've got this, I'm fortunate that I've got this thing here already in polyline. I can actually just hatch it in ANSI. My assistant, what does it say? ANSI 31 or yeah, there. So I'm going to go hatch and ANSI 31. This one here. It's associative. I don't want to necessarily associative. I want annotative. Associative is good as well. It would be by default associative anyway. It hasn't really turned it off. But annotative is what I want. And here we go. So I just pick this. Now, I can go into the middle if I got pick points. I may detect it, but it won't. See that how it's kind of little patches? Because I've got it. It's this drawing is so busy, it gets confused. It sees things that are turned off. So you're better off. Oh, yours. Oh, you did anyway and it worked? Okay. Yeah, so there's no problem.
As long as it's
No problem. Yeah. But if you're having problems, yeah, it's closed boundary. But thanks for that. That works. If you're having problems, just select that. And depending on your settings, it will actually find that. But if that doesn't actually do that, where it blanks it out, you may have to pick the actual text as well and then press enter. But it depends on the settings, because there are a number of options where it does the outer island detection and all that sort of jazz. All right, so yeah, under the options here, but that's getting.
That's if you do your hatch and then add the text.
No, I don't think. I think it's you just yeah. I'm not sure whether it works like that. I never tried it. But anyway, we'll close that and see. Anyway, either way, that's what we need. Oh, gee, that's in the wrong spot. See, I can move it up and it's no problem. What's that?
Oh, so you need to go into choosing your.
Yeah, the text it's just yeah, the blanking is behind it. Yeah, it knows already. Yeah. All right. What have we got here now? Sure. Right? No. Gotta go. All right. Insert in detail. That's next. But we've got e-transmit, we've got purge, and we also haven't done what this says, which is all of this stuff here. And I haven't got actual instructions for all this. It's just a matter of having a bit of a look. I did put in some paths and downpipe text and downpipes and that sort of thing. I thought I had some more instructions, but anyway, so that's about shows up about a millimeter. So it means at 1:200, it should be about a 200 diameter circle. What am I doing here is basically showing you the where the downpipes go under the ground and or the water gets directed into this easement, which is the drainage and sewage easement. So the sewage will also go in there, but at this point, I'm only just showing the drainage, and that's a note to be put on there, which you know to put notes, maybe not, with the arrows on them. Well, we've done some already, so the same deal. I will put the notes onto the paper again. So yeah, and all this DP can be on the paper, but we can just let's have a look. Let's go. Yeah. Time. Oh, it's 2:06. I know. So what do you want to do? Hurry up. Okay. I'm being rushed. All right, that's a bit rough. Okay, let's go with offset 600. And basically that is a quick way of working out where I'm going to put these drainage points or these pipes. So have we got a site stormwater. Yes, we'll click that. Yeah, so we'll use that, but also going to change this to signage stormwater, drainage site, whatever stormwater. So that's basically gives me some line work. I'm just going to exploit this, so I can then export, explode, and select it. So this separates it all, and I'm going to refer back to that. So basically, I begin from this end here, go around there, and this end over here. So really, I don't need these ones. Delete those. I'm going to put in a circle. This is what I'm going to do with the circle though, so I don't have to create another layer. So I have one down here, don't I? So I'm going to put one here, like just in front of the post roughly, but this is just rough positions.
So the circles indicate the down heights, you know, like is it?
Yeah, 600. Yeah. So I'm going to just drop a circle about there for now, and I'm going to make it 200 millimeters. Right. So, and I'm just going to nudge it around a bit. Control down arrow. This is only diagrammatic because in fact my downpipe is only 90 millimeters. It's not 200. It's just symbolic. That's where it is. All right. So the thing is, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do the unthinkable, and I'm going to actually set the line type for this here where I should never be going to, and I'm going to set it to be continuous so that it doesn't show it to me dash dot. Yeah. So now I'm going to then make sure I have, I'm going to create this 45. So I'm going to make sure I've got the, this one here set to 45 and just click it on. So we're using that. So I'm going to go line and make sure the other thing I've got my object snaps on and I've got center set up because I'm going to use center a fair bit. So I have, so that's good. So I'm going from center 45 there, and I'm going to fillet that there. So if you are planning to fall behind, best to watch now because I'm going to go super fast, and you can watch the last bit on video. All right, so that's the idea. So I'm going to then copy these things along, and I'm just trying to get a photographic memory as to where they are. There. All right, so I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to CEO for copy from the center. Now, where was it again? Was it one here? Right on the wall there. Am I going right there? And one up here, yeah. And there was one here, I think. Tell me if I'm going wrong here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Roughly. And this one here, I think. Yeah. No. And one up here. No. Was there one there? The plan? The plan. Oh, okay. Yeah, there was one there. Yeah, we're right. Okay. Right. Yeah, there. Just trying to minimize the amount of them that we have at the front. All right, so that's it. So now I'm just going to go lines at 45 and just join these up at 45. Just looking at that again. So it goes around. It's a main line. Just am I doing it the right way? Sorry, I'm doing the wrong way. Oh, that one is all right. This one's the wrong way. The water's going to go. It's going the direction of the water. So the water is going like it's going around this way, and then it goes off into the here, and so we've got to just make it go that same direction. And I'm just going to go along and trim whatever I have to trim in a minute.
We'll update the notes and put them on the line for you to see the finished product as well as the instructions.
Well, they are on the thing, obviously. They're on the finished sheet. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah. Not on that one. This not on the instructions. It's not. They're not in here, but they are on the sheet. Yeah. So you can look in there. Dimensions? No, it doesn't have dimensions. Right? You're right. We'll probably put a few more notes. It's 600 offset, all of that sort of jazz. Yes, for sure. So yeah, I'm just going to fillet that there, and that's that. And then I'm just going to run a line from just the corner there into the pit. So I've got a line here, and just drag it up. I'm just going to go perpendicular to that there, And then I'm not sure where the actual underground one runs in here, but I'm just going to go in a bit further. Depending on your setups, you might be able to continue straight up, or you can just guess it like that. All right, so that's that. So that's done. Now we're just going to put some text. I'm going to put that looks the same size text as that actually, which is a bit big, but anyway. So I'm just going to go back into the viewport now and find the. Where's it gone? This keeps moving. Yeah. All right. So let's go to text. So I'm just going to put some single line text. Annotate single line text. This one here. I'm just going to click there. Now, what am I putting? 2mm? Yes, that's fine. Enter and type DP. I'll make it capital. Enter to finish that off. And I'm just going to, I mean, that's okay where it is. Copy that a number of times. It doesn't matter how, just as long as it's legible. There. Drop. DP. All right, done. So that's that. I've got a bit of a problem. Don't show this roof plan. We have to update that. It's actually not right. I've got the roof. Well, do I have a roof plan there? We don't need the roof plan. Do we need? Should we show the roof layout there? Yeah. It's not. No, but I think I did that by mistake. In there, I think. I don't think we need the roof in there. From memory. So because if I just show you here, here, that's the actual one from the standards, right? There's no roof line here, right? Yeah, that was a mistake. I noticed that afterwards. So yeah, and then I just put in this case, I put in a 4-meter driveway or something big. Again, I didn't dimension it, but it is 2 meters away from that corner there, from that edge, 4 meters, and then I put a path that's a meter around the house. So I'll show you that. So then I went in here, driveway. What layer did I put the driveway on? What have I created in here? Have I got any layers for the driveway? Paths. Put on the paths, layer, site paths. So I'm just going to draw. I can't offset this. So I'm just going to draw a line over the top of it for now. And in site paths, I'm going to offset that 2000. Draw there, and then offset that 4000. All right. And here I'm going to do a path that's a meter around the whole thing. So it looks a bit like that. So I'm just going to basically use this again, go offset 1000 there, put it under layer path, site path, site path here. And again, I'm going to explode it and remove what I don't need. So click on there, and I'm just going to go explode this button here, or X for explode. So here I've got, I don't need that one there because this path here is going to merge the driveway. I'm going to merge this one with the driveway like that, and that's where my driveway is going to finish. And I'm going to fillet this one with that one. And basically here, actually, I fillet, I think this is the way we're going to do it. Fillet that with that, this one. And I'm going to erase that and that. Path is done, and it does go right down up to the curb, and the curb is not showing in here. I'm not sure where it is, but we'll just go down a bit. So just draw a line, perhaps draw a line that's along here. Curb is probably what, offset about 3 meters, say at least 3.5 meters. Just guessing 3,500 down here. A good surveyor should have put that in, but they didn't do it. So if we send that there, it's something that you might go back to the surveyor and say, have you picked up the curbs? They'll send you an updated file. Just erase that and that. Done. Basically, that's done. There. And I've got a minute to put that in there for you and do purge and stuff like that. So we might go a few minutes over. Hopefully you can stick it out for 5 to 10 minutes and we'll get that done. All right, I'll keep going. There's a couple of things I didn't talk about, transmit and purge. So let's have a look at that in a minute. I'll leave that for now. I'll bring this detail in, the detail next, and then we'll talk about these other bits at the end, which is the transmit and what have you. All right, purge. Inserting the detail. No, generally we do not import images, image files to be used as details. We're just showing you this because the actual unit requires that you bring in an image and be able to scale it up. So that's the sole reason I'm doing this. All right, so here we go. We've got an image. Which have you downloaded the image? It's on the it should be on the learn. The image file is called this one here. Eve's detail should be there. Have you downloaded that image? If not, I'll show you how to do it. Not how to download it, and but how to actually bring it in, and you can do this after. So we are going to set the layer to text, and then insert the PNG file that I've given you, so this is how you do it. Click open, set dialog box to this. There's nothing special except for no path in here. Scale, specify on screen, no. We're going to leave the scale as it is, however big it is, and that's about it. Specify on screen the insertion point only. All right, so let's go to AutoCAD. I'm going to bring it in. Did it actually say where to bring it in? Whether it's in paper space. I'm going to actually in model space because it's like a model thing. So I'm going to put it in model space. Okay, so let's let's go back to here. So we're going to put it over here, and this is going to become your detail. I can't remember what I called it, the roof detail. I don't know what I call it. No, Eve's detail. That's right, Eve's detail. All right, so just and this one is to 10. Okay, so bring it here. All right, done. So now we can either copy this guy over here or we can just do a new one. I'm just going to copy this one here. I'm going to go copy here and just put it over here. Make sure it doesn't matter if I am horizontal or not really, but all right, so there it is. It just gives me something that I can go into now. And remember, text is turned on, and we're going to set layer text as the current layer. There it is. And I'm going to, in this viewport, turn everything off except for the text. And also I'm going to change the scale, change the scale of the viewport. I don't want this to 10, but let me just turn off everything except for the text in here. So let's go here, Control A, and we're going to go and freeze everything in this current viewport, including the site. All right, everything is frozen. Now I'm going to just go back and just get the text, and just make that full, and go close that. All right. Now you can see this text here still because our viewport is set to 1 is to 200. Okay. So let me just go back to. I can never find this button here. Here it is. Now this one here should be set to 1 is to 1 is to 10. 10. Oh, goodness me, that disappeared. All right, so let me just go in here for a minute. Let me just do something else. Viewport is frozen as well, so let me just thaw the viewport. Sorry, the viewport and the text should be thawed in that current viewport. and now we're okay. Sorry about that. Bit of a fright. Let's go. So it's set to 1:10 now. So we should be okay. We can. Do we lock it? Is it 1:10? Yes, lock it. I'm surprised I didn't have to unlock it because that means this one here is not locked yet. So let's lock that one. Oh, no, it is locked. I'm not sure what's going on here. No, don't worry about that. Now let's go here. And I'm going to bring in this image. It's under insert. Just the same as we do bring any drawings, attach. And I'm going to change the files of type down the bottom here, very important, to be all image files. And in my drawings, where I saved it, is my ifs detail. Open that. And I'm just going to take that specify on screen off. I'm going to change this to no path. And the insertion point will be where I indicate. Yes, that's correct. And that's about it. Go OK. So wherever I click is where it's going to go. I'm just be aware where you click, because you want to find it again. There's a little dot in the middle there. Can't see it up on the screen, but there it is coming up. Just zoom it up. There it is. Beautiful. That's the one. Okay. So great. So that's fine. It's there, but that doesn't mean we can see it on the other viewport. So let's just go back to here. You still can't see it in here. So really, it's here. I need to zoom it in. So I'll go into there and double click with my middle mouse button. Ooh, it's locked. I should have unlocked it. Sorry, there you go. Unlock it. And that comes up to a certain point. I can just see something there, and it's not coming up anymore. So I'm just going to guess that it's in the middle there. I'm just going to have to. No. Okay, see, I'm going like this and it's not coming up. Now why is it not working? Like, why I have to change my scale for it to work? Well, the fact is, it's not, we need one more step in between, okay? So that should really stay at 1:10. So don't worry about that particular thing I just did. Forget about that. I will leave it unlocked for now in case I need to adjust. But what I'm going to do is go back into here and find it from here and do something. I need to, this says come in. How big is it though? Like, we got some dimensions on here, 450. If I measure from here to there, roughly, because I can't click on the end of the line, it's just 0.2 millimeters. That's very small, like the site plan, all right? So we need to fix this up. Now, the idea here is to look for dimension that you know the size of. Now, if I didn't have any dimensions, I would know the size of the wall. But it's very small. The longer the dimension, the better off we are. There's accuracy. So the longer dimension I have here is this one here. 350 plus 345 plus 345. So I need to scale this up by that. So I click this and I go back to my home and I go scale, which is this one here. And I need to then specify base point. This is important. You need to specify the base point where you're going to scale it from. So basically, I'm going to use these dimensions, and this is my reference. You can't really see, but you need to get this crosshair just where that dimension tick is intersecting with the other two lines. It's pixelated because it is an image. So I could just freehand go like this now and it'll become bigger, but I want it to be precisely big enough so that it is to scale. So I could type in, for example, make it 1,000 times bigger if I knew that that's the ratio, but I don't know the ratio. So I'm going to go scale by reference. I'm going to click on the reference at the bottom there. And then it's going to ask me to tell it what the actual size of this text is, this dimension is now. So the way to do it is for me to zoom in here again, click on that little corner there, come back here, click on that little corner. It tells it what it is now. Then all I got to tell it is what that number is in total, 350 plus 345 plus 345, right? And then it will do it. So for the first point, instead of me trying to zoom in here again and maybe get slightly off, there's a little trick you can do if you don't want to just click in there. You can go Shift key and at. Remember when we were going at sign, when in the early days, draw from here, we got at in front of it. It means from where I am now, All right, so I can actually just put at without putting anything after it, and it will go to that point. So go at. See how it's latched onto that point already? It's already hooked on that. At, enter. And then I've got to tell it where this point is. And that, unfortunately, I can't zoom anymore. It's actually reached the limit of this region, so it's good enough there. So I've just told it what that is. There it is. Now I've got to tell it what it should be. That's what he's asking me next. He's saying specify new length. The new length is, well, I have to get the calculator out, or do it on my head. Oh, come on, that's too easy. Well, there's another little command that I'll show you, by the way. Apostrophe, and then CAL for calculator. And I can put in an expression. I can put in 350 plus 345 plus 345, enter. Hopefully, what's gone big, it's disappeared. Zoom extends. Let's see now. I wonder if I got it right. I'm just going to check the distance in a minute. Make sure I got the object snaps off there, just in case. I'm going to zoom in here. Please be right. 1040.19. That's what you got, 1040, didn't you? So it should be, right. So I'm happy with the 0.19. I mean, don't forget it's pixels, and 0.19 is nothing. And if I do a dimension on it anyway, if I did, it rounds it up to the nearest millimeter. So I'm okay. I'm good. All right. So that's one dimension. We've got another one here, but yeah, we'll check that one here. Distance. There. We'll go in here. Click. I was a bit off there again, just because I'm rushing. There. That says 449.49. That one it will probably round down to 449 if I did a dimension, but that's fine. It's just where it clicked initially wasn't quite right. All right, that's it. So that's that. So now if I go to, I've scaled it up. As I said, you might have to rewatch that video. So let's go to this thing I can never find. So now if I go in here now, double click in there, I can just position this in the right spot. He's 1:10 still, which is good. I might have to make my border bigger if I don't get everything in, but I think I am. No, I'm not. I'm missing something here, so I can just click that. Maybe a bit bigger, a lot bigger. I'm missing the gutter. Anything down here I'm missing? Who knows, eh? So I can just move it up a bit, control nudge up. All right, so basically, now the thing is here now. If I go print, let's see what we get. Continue and go preview. See, I get those lines on the top. That line there is actually the border of the image, and that's not turned off. But it's not on a layer. So how do I turn it off? Right. Well, it sort of is. I could probably turn off that text layer, but it'd probably turn off the whole thing. So we don't want to do that. So there is another way of controlling image frames. The command is this, and I'll type it anywhere. It don't have to be in the viewport. I'm going to type in image frame. Comes up. There it is, frame. It's set to 2. That's right. Just go into here and see what it says. Image frame. Set to 2. Yep, 2 is fine. It shouldn't print off. It shouldn't print, but it shows me as if it's printing, right? I'm not sure why it's doing that. It should be okay at 2 because 2 is visible but not printable. 1 is visible and 0 is off. If I can turn it off, I can. If I turn it off, it means that it means that I can't actually click on it and drag it and move it. But who wants to move it? It's fine where it is. So, and if I have a look at my full model of where that image is, who knows? It could be anywhere in here. Can't find it. There it is. That's where I landed it, on there. I couldn't see. I just put it somewhere, right? I mean, I couldn't move it out now, but that means I have to readjust my viewport. So yeah, let me not show it to you through here, but let me show it to you through here. If I go in, I'll just try image frame again, and I'm going to have to, the proper thing is, and again, I don't know about this particular history of this template. So I'm going to go image frame, and I'm going to turn it off. There's other things there: image clip, image attach. We've got that already. Image clip is a good one as well. So if I just go 0, it turned it off. So plot, and I'm going to preview now. So image frame 0 will fix that up for you when image frame 2 does not work. All right. Yeah. All right. So I think I'll leave it there. And there's another couple. Oh, gee, try Z. Let me just lock it. All right. I locked it. All right. So that's 2 minutes over. Purge. Yes. So now we may or may not have some layers that are not only layers, but blocks we brought in, other things that will we don't need to send off to your lecturer because it makes the file bigger and messier. So you can type in purge, and it is somewhere on there, but we'll type it in purge, PU for a short command, and it will, like here, it will show us any blocks that I've created or whoever created in here that are not being used. They've been brought in, but they haven't been used. So you can feel confident here. Whatever's in here can go without affecting your drawing. It's not going to delete anything that you've already inserted, like your sink or your dishwasher or whatever. All right. So that can go. There's not many things that you want to keep. Like I brought in extra line types in case I needed them and I never used. I can get rid of them. It's showing in here the ones that are not used. Things like that. So feel free to then, don't worry when looking at that, just go purge all, then go purge all items. But then when you purge once, you usually have to do it 3 times. Then other ones are released. See, more blocks are being released here. Sometimes it's blocks within blocks within blocks. So they don't appear until you delete the first one or purge the first one. So purge all, and when that's grayed out, it means you're done. There's nothing more to purge. So I only did twice this time around. So it wasn't too bad. All right. So now that's got rid of all the things we don't need to have showing in there. Make sure your total blocks are filled in, of course, and whatever. So the scale is as indicated because we've got 2 different scales here. It's all good there. We fixed it last week. And e-transmit. Perfect. E-transmit. E-transmit. It's actually on here. You can type it in, or it's on the drawing utilities. Here's purge, by the way. We found purge. Yay. And also units is here. Where's e-transmit? Is it publish? Here, under publish. E-transmit. So if I go like this, for example, you would have printed some PDFs by now before you do your e-transmit. Printed your PDFs already to send to us. So you could go, okay, I've done my PDFs and now I'm going to e-transmit. So I'm going to go, just do you want to save the current drawing for continuing? Yes. And it's already finding that this drawing has some files that are brought in. I've got JPEG as well, apparently. I didn't know. Oh, yeah, the TAFE logo. See, I forgot about that. I would have sent it without the TAFE logo. I mean, terrible. Right, so, but on the same time, some companies don't want to send their logos, so they just remove it from it. You can actually remove it. You can go tick like this, goes off, and I won't get the logo. All right, but you can leave it on. So like this, PNG file, yes, you found that, and you found a CTB file you used, ABS, excellent. It says you having to go around and these things up. And a PC3 file, which is the one I use to print the PDF. Some of these things I don't need because I know that DWG to PDF is standard, so everyone will have it anyway. So really, you don't need to send me that. So you might say, oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, I know Andreas has got that. So you can tick it off. And I've also got ABS in my system. So really, you don't have to send me that either. But if you send it, you're not going to lose marks. Better to have it all than not enough. If I go to extend down external references, it says, there's a site plan I detected that needs to go as well. So it's going to package it all up for you. What it won't package up is your PDF, for example. So go add file, and then you go to wherever you save your PDF. In my case, it's not. I'm not sure where I saved it now. Should be under your drawings, I suppose. Oh no, under sheets. but I'm not sure if I've done one. There you go. I've got one of the sheets, but you have more. So click the PDF, all the PDFs. There might be more than one. If I go up to where I've got a few more, for example, it might be that and that and that, for example. All right. So you go open that. So what it does, it adds those here under other files. There they are. And then you go, it transmit by default, it should be set up to a zip file. So if I go OK, it'll give me a zip file. But if I just double check, modify, it says it's going to be a zip file. There you go. Or you can make it go into a folder, it's separate files, and do it that way. But zip is fine. Keep existing drawing format. You can change it to previous drawing format if your client hasn't got this latest version. And I think that's all you need to. Just where it's going to go. It tells me it's going to go into the same folder as where it came from, and that's it. I don't have to go there really. I just went there to double check. All I have to go do is just do this and go OK, and it'll go in there. Call it. It's saying what it is. Name it. You know, really, you could just name it your name. I suppose is that what we want, Robin? Jones residence, and then just your full name on the end. Yeah, so just put in whatever your name is there. Your name, not in capitals and lowercase like that, but better than that. And go like this. And then we'll just go and check in here. I think it's in here. There it is, the zip file. And you just right click, whatever, send to mail recipient, send it to us. No, we're going to upload it, sorry. We're going to upload it. Sorry, we're going to upload it through the portal. Sorry, my bad. Sorry. But you can double click in here and see what it actually picked up. And it did pick up, even kept the TAFE logo in because of the way the drawing was set up. I was referencing the TAFE logo from a folder called 2-block library, and therefore it kept that association going so that my client at the other end can find it easier, because we did do a relative path, so the path has to be one below with the drawings, if you remember, something like that. All right.
All good.
Okay, now you can breathe.
So I think next week we might just come in and just see the data.
Yeah. Sure. Next week we'll be back again.
We'll be back next week just to see where you. We'll be
If you have
back
any
next
questions?
week just to see where you are at, because I know we rushed through this time. So I would like you just to watch this video. We are recording it. All the necessary information is there, so if you just watch it step by step. I'm updating the notes with Andreas, so you'll see the dimensions and how much offset it is. We'll try and get that out ASAP to you, upload it to the foil, so just follow those instructions along with the video, and you should be able to be on track. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
We will be in class next week, but just to reiterate, you'll be submitting then 3 sheets, and it will be then the first sheet will consist of what you know, the floor plan and the reframing plan. A02, which is the second sheet, will consist of the electrical plan and the footing plan, and sheet 3 will consist of the site plan and then that insertion of the eaves detail. Okay, so that will be the e-transmit file that you upload at the end of the session. So that will be on the 21st of June. Okay.
Yep.
But come into class next week if you do want to just go through something, and it can be anything throughout that you need to discuss.
Yes, and of course on this detail here you can see all the different materials used as well. So that's handy to know what these things are, the battens and so on. All right.
Yeah, that's very important because that's due to standards. So if you're needing to know the thickness of the wall, some of you are doing your timber roof structure subjects or units, so you'll get information on that too. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, good.
Thanks.
Thank you.